There's a hidden graveyard in every city. You won't find it on any map. It doesn't exist in stone or soil. It exists in the minds of the living, where millions of dreams are buried before they're even born. The people walk past you every day. They smile at you in meetings, stand in line at the grocery store, post filtered pictures of themselves, yet inside, their ambitions have already been lowered into the dirt and covered with the heavy soil of someday. And do you know what killed those dreams? Not failure, not bad luck, not a lack of talent. It was the absence of a clear vision. Because without vision, your days are nothing but a string of disconnected moments. You live on reaction instead of intention. You wake up, answer emails, attend meetings, chase deadlines, binge entertainment, and you wonder why life feels like it's running you instead of you running it. The tragedy is that human beings were not designed to live without a target. The mind is a guided missile. It will pursue whatever it's locked onto. But when there is no lock-on, when the coordinates are fuzzy or undefined, it drifts. It circles. It wastes fuel. And one day, it crashes. Look at history's giants, Edison, who saw the light bulb in his mind before he built it. Disney, who walked through Disneyland years before it existed anywhere but in his imagination. Ford, who envisioned cars not as luxuries for the wealthy, but as machines for the common man. These men weren't merely workers or dreamers. They were architects of the invisible. They had a clear picture long before the first brick was laid. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose, the ability to decide, with unwavering clarity, what you want and where you're going. It's not wishful thinking. It's not, I hope one day I'll get there. It is I will. And because I will, I must. And because I must, I act. But the opposite is equally true. Without that clarity, the default setting of life takes over. Drift. Drift is subtle. Drift is slow. Drift feels safe, even comfortable. You take what comes instead of deciding what will be. You adapt to circumstances instead of shaping them. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time, when the truth is, you're afraid to define what you want because once you do, there will be no excuse left for inaction. A clear vision is dangerous. Dangerous to your comfort, dangerous to your excuses, dangerous to the weaker version of yourself that prefers ease over growth. It demands you change. It demands you take responsibility. And most people aren't ready to pay that price. But here is the reality you cannot escape. If you do not take the time to define what you want, the world will define it for you. You will end up building someone else's dream while yours rots in the shadows. Vision is the great separator. Two people can start with the same background, the same resources, the same opportunities, and 20 years later, one is thriving while the other is trapped in mediocrity. The difference is not luck, intelligence, or connections. The difference is that one had a map, and the other wandered in circles. And make no mistake, vision is not simply having a goal. A goal can be vague. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want to make more money. That's not a vision. That's a wish list written in fog. Vision is precise. Vision is vivid. You can see it, hear it, smell it. You know what the walls look like, what the air feels like, what the numbers say. When you have that level of clarity, discipline becomes automatic. You don't have to motivate yourself to act. Your vision pulls you forward like gravity. Every choice becomes a filter. Does this take me closer to my vision or farther from it? If it's closer, I do it. If it's farther, I don't. Without vision, there is no filter. You say yes to everything and end up with nothing. You scatter your energy in 100 directions, never breaking the surface in any of them. Your life becomes a collection of half-built bridges, impressive starts that lead nowhere. Understand this, the world does not reward potential. It rewards execution. And execution without vision is wasted movement. So you have a choice. You can drift, letting life hand you whatever scraps it decides to throw your way. Or you can decide, once and for all, to be the architect, not the tenant of your life. But you cannot do both. The question is not, do I have a vision? The question is my vision so clear, so defined, so magnetic that I wake up every morning knowing exactly what I must do? Because until you reach that point, you're still walking through the graveyard where dreams go to die, and you may be digging your own plot. A clear vision is more than a plan on paper. It is a living, breathing force that reshapes you from the inside out. It burns away distractions like a wildfire devouring dry leaves. It makes excuses sound hollow. It turns, "I can't," into, "I must." And yet, most people treat vision like a luxury, something they'll get around to once the bills are paid, once the chaos settles, once life is more convenient. But here's the truth: clarity is never the result of convenience. It is the cause of it. The man or woman with a clear vision moves differently. Their footsteps have weight. Their words carry authority, not because they shout the loudest, but because they speak from certainty. Others may not see what they see, but they feel the conviction. And conviction is contagious. It attracts allies. It commands respect. Look at Andrew Carnegie. Before he became the steel titan of America, he was a poor immigrant boy working in a textile mill. But in his mind, he could already see the empire he would build. Every decision, every conversation, every risk was filtered through that invisible image. He wasn't just swinging a hammer, he was laying the foundations of an industrial dynasty. That is the power of vision. It transforms labor into legacy. Contrast that with the millions who move through life without it. They work hard, they put in the hours, but there is no unifying thread. One year they chase one thing, the next year they chase another. They reinvent themselves so many times that nothing takes root. And by the time they look back, they realize they have spent decades climbing ladders leaning against the wrong walls. This is why the price of living without vision is so high. It is not just lost opportunities, it is wasted life force. It is the slow erosion of the soul. You begin to accept jobs you don't care about, relationships that drain you, routines that numb you. You become skilled at justifying it. It's not so bad. At least I'm secure. Other people have it worse. And with every rationalization, your spirit becomes duller, until one day, you can no longer remember the last time you felt truly alive. Vision is the antidote. Vision shakes you awake. It puts fire in your bloodstream. It demands you stop being the passenger in your own story. And here's the thing, you don't need permission to claim it. You don't need a certificate, a title, or someone else's approval. The only requirement is that you dare to see it. But daring to see is harder than it sounds. The moment you define your vision, you also define your sacrifices. You see the comforts you'll have to give up, the hours you'll have to commit, the fears you'll have to confront. This is why most people never make it past the dreaming stage. The price looks too high. Yet here's the paradox. The price of pursuing your vision will always be less than the cost of living without one. Because living without vision is not neutral. It is decay. It is your potential rotting in real time. It is the quiet, gnawing pain of knowing you were meant for more but settling for less. Henry Ford once said, "If you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right." Vision turns can into certainty. It becomes a declaration to the universe. This is who I am becoming. This is where I am going. And nothing will stop me. Once you make that decision, your mind begins working for you instead of against you. Opportunities that were invisible before start appearing. People who align with your mission start showing up. But here's a truth few will tell you, vision alone is not enough. It is the engine, but it needs fuel. And that fuel is relentless, disciplined action. A vision without action is like a lighthouse with no beam, beautiful in theory, but useless in practice. Thomas Edison didn't just imagine the light bulb. He ran thousands of experiments. Walt Disney didn't just dream about a theme park. He spent years pitching the idea, being rejected, gathering investors, drawing plans. A clear vision tells you where to go, but the road must still be walked, step by painful step. And here's where most fail, not in dreaming, but in enduring. Because once you commit to a vision, the universe will test you. It will throw delays, failures, and critics in your path. It will strip away your illusions and force you to prove that you are worthy of what you seek. This is not cruelty. This is the forge that strengthens the steel. The question is not whether you will face resistance. The question is whether your vision will be strong enough to pull you through it. If it's just a wish, you'll quit. If it's just for money, you'll fold. If it's just for applause, you'll stop when the crowd leaves. But if your vision is rooted deep in who you are and who you are determined to become, nothing, no storm, no setback, no season of doubt, can break you.